Well, here we are at this sorry machine. Motor's bad on it. I've had it about a year. The warranty's up, and now I got to take it apart. I've had this cover off to see if I could figure out what was wrong with it. The motor's bad, so now I got to try to take this cover off and all of this right here, this shroud, so that I can get to the motor. Okay, now I've got this shroud off. There was 2 bolts over here on this side, and there's another one over here, and those were the small bolts right there on the table. I don't remember how many millimeters they were. I'm loosening this in case I need it off. I've got 2 bolts out. There's one here, right here, and another one on the other side. I may take these out. These are the same kind of bolts right here. Okay, now I'm going to have to take this off here. It's got a spring clip, C-clip, sometimes they call them. So you got to have a remover for this C-clip. Right here is the tool that you need. And those points fit into 2 small holes. Squeeze it together. Take out that C-clip, and you got to save that. It's a very small one. You got to be careful, this is plastic. Okay, I loosened this here. I've got these wires. I've got these wires cut to the capacitor, but actually I possibly can use the capacitor again. So I've got to cut these wires here. I've got to take this ground wire loose. There's a little washer on it. I found some of the bolts loose because of the vibration caused by it. I'm going to have to cut some of the wire ties down here. I will cut the white and the black wires. Then I'll have to shorten up this cord right here. Okay, so I've got this loose. Okay. Now they call this the eccentric. It's really a crankshaft. Some people don't know this, but some bigger compressors have crankshafts on them. In this case, this one's got one. Well, these are cheap compressors. I cannot find another motor, so I'm just going to put it back together. And I got another idea to put another motor on it. Right here is a nice shaft, and I want to sort of put another motor up here and then put a pulley between the two. So I need to put this back together. That's going to make it pretty heavy, but it should work. Because this compressor and the motor are together, and they have to go together. You could separate them, but I'm not going to. So now these wires here are going to be stripped. So I'm going to have to hook up the new motor to these wires. Okay, I got this working. I've got the wires hooked up. The display came on over here. Now you can tell that this is running right here. Now this is a 5/8 inch shaft, and I have to connect it to this shaft. I've got this pulley right here for this shaft here. Okay, what I did was I bought this belt. I was just guessing as to how big the belt would be. Well, I'm quite a bit short, and I also added a little bit to the one side. I added a little bit over here on this side, right here at the end, so that this would have a bit bigger place, so that this motor would have a bigger place. Another thing that I'm concerned about is I put this on and I had to drill this hole bigger, and this has a 2-inch pulley right here and a 3-inch right here. Actually, it's about 3 1/4. And then I installed this wire with this kind of a connection on it, and that's going to be a ground for the motor, and that'll be installed right there with a bolt. Then I'm going to have to make sure that these wires are out of the way and that they don't interfere with this belt and the pulley system. So the motor still works. I also bought this. I had to take a piece of sandpaper and go over this shaft right here because it had some raised metal on it. And then it has a keyway right here. And I cleaned out the keyway really good with a wire brush, and then now I got this key, and I bought this pulley. This is a 4-inch pulley. Now I'm kind of concerned because this motor that was on here was direct drive for this pump, and so if I buy really big pulley like this one and use it, that means that the pump and everything will turn slower. The bigger you buy this pulley, the slower it's going to turn. So I've got to take this all apart, and also I've got to drill a couple of holes. I've got to drill a couple of holes so I can move this motor back and forth this way, so I can adjust the belt. So I've got to go get another belt. This pulley may be too big. I think I'm going to go get a different one. Okay, here's how you align the pulleys. This one is fastened down. Alright, I got to come back a little bit. So I move the motor back just a little bit. I moved it way too much. Make sure that it's touching here, and then here and here. You can also move the pulley a little bit. Well, this turned out to be quite interesting. When you do archaeology, you find old motors, and you don't know if they're any good or not. So, what we're going to do here is I'll show you. We're going to turn it on. Here's the control box. There's the start button. And you'll see what happens. This display says 109 right now. I mean, it works. I got it pretty secure. I can try to tighten the belt a little bit by putting this screwdriver on there. But I'm afraid I'm going to damage the screwdriver. Well, the belt is not warm. This pulley right here is the warmest area. This pulley over here is a little bit warm. This part here is cool. The motor, the one that works, is okay. It's a little bit warm. So, yeah, it goes up, the pressure goes up very slowly. Got it set at 150. It seems to go a little bit faster after it's had a rest for a little bit. I put the screwdriver on and it almost stops. So it needs a little work. I believe this old motor is not any good. So I'm going to try to change it, put a different one on. What I did was I took the other motor off. All right, now with this motor here, this is 110 volts, so that'll work out fine. But one of the problems I see right away is that this has a 2-inch pulley on it. I do have a 4-inch. Here's another one. This one is 3-inch. Now this one is 4-inch. So either one of these can be used. That'll slow it down a little bit, but this is 3,500 RPM, and the other one I believe was around 1,700. So it turns quite a bit faster. And so we'll have to see how that works. Another thing is that I've got 2 wires over here, right here, and this has this kind of a plug right here. So I'm going to have to install a plug here, and I'll have to use probably some of these screws down here to attach it. So minor problems, and then what I'm going to do is I'll have to put some extensions on these wires right here, since one is black and one white. That should work okay. Another thing is that some of these motors like this one happens to be, well, it doesn't say what kind of motor it is, but I did try it briefly and it spun the belt right off of there because it's turning so fast. Yeah, I can't see what the name of it is. It doesn't have a nameplate back here, but it looks like a good motor. I'm going to use this box here. This is a 2-inch box, and it's got a plug for it. This is old technology, slightly, not too bad. They use the back of it to put the wires in, so I'm going to have to cut those. Works a whole lot better. One of the things that I did here was check this motor to make sure it wasn't real hot. Well, this compressor part of it is hot. I took grease and I put it up under this piston, which is right here, but that is really hot. That's probably why the motor burned up. So I took some of this grease right here and put some of that on.